So today we'll start with understanding of Playwright, okay, with basic installation, Playwright architecture, and a simple to say run of a test, okay, and some basic understanding or idea about different options available as part of uh, running a Playwright test. So see what I have done. I have created a folder in my C drive sorry, D drive, and I have opened the same in VS Code. Now I'll open the terminal, so I'll use Control tilde sign, which will open the terminal. Now over here, you just have to write one statement, that is npx playwright, npm install playwright at the rate test. Okay, so that command you can get from their official website also. So if we go to playwright.dev, you can go to docs and you can see installation, okay, how to install Playwright. So npm init Playwright at the latest. Okay, this will install the latest Playwright. Okay, you can just copy this command and paste it in your terminal. That's it. And you're getting some different options also. You can go with that options as well. Like, anyways, we are going to get this as form of what you say questions, and we have to say yes or accordingly, right? So over here, if you can say yes, quite, browser, Chromium. So these are some browsers which will get installed, okay, as part of installation of Playwright. If you want to allow this, you can just use right arrow key. So these commands will be part of your this npm script, and you can just enter. So it will install Playwright in this particular folder. So it is installing Playwright. Just increase it. You can see node modules came up, package JSON came up, package log JSON came up. Similarly, Playwright config will come, git ignore, test, GitHub. These folders will get added up as part of your installation process. So it will take some time. So Playwright config is the heart of your project. Okay, you can do some configuration, basic configuration over here. As in, if you want to take a screenshot, you want to record video, you want to run test in parallel, all
Sir,
those.
Sir, can you add this syntax on the chat, sir?
Yeah, sure. I've shared my screen, right? So,
And sir, the further queries like the yes, quite.
that actually, if you don't write, even if you don't write, that will come as part of your installation process.
Okay.
So it will ask like whether you want to go for TypeScript, whether you want to go for like test as a default folder. Okay, you want to have this GitHub like some steps. Okay, those options will come. You have to just say enter that way. Even if you don't write this is also perfectly fine. I've accepted it, no issues. So right now it's downloading Chrome headless. So all the browsers will also get installed. There are two options of installing Playwright. One is this one, and second also I'll show you how you can install Playwright. The difference is with the second option, you will get a play kind of sign, okay, play button sign in front of or aside besides your test, so that also will understand. So this is one command, and in case you face any problem in running this, now you can execute. Uh, Last time as in TypeScript, when we were installing TypeScript, we were getting some issues like scripts are not allowed to run, right? So then you can use
Sir,
that command set execution
sir,
as
I'm
well.
getting an error. Can I share my screen, sir?
Yeah, sure. We're getting the same error, like set not able to run the script or something like that. Share your screen, you'll understand.
Yes, sir. Huh. So this is not an error. So this is what I was saying. You will get some questionnaires. So where to put your end-to-end test? So test is the folder. You can say tab. Okay, you can give tab and enter, or right arrow key and enter. Yeah. Now it's a GitHub Actions workflow. So you again true enter. So these options I was talking about. Install browsers. Yes. Okay. So now it will do the same thing. Okay. It will install everything. You can minimize this SRC folder and you will see other folders as well coming up. SRC one, SRC. No, inside Playwright June 26 SRC folder. Yeah, SRC. Yeah. So now you can see Playwright config.ts, package log. Package log was anyways, package log came up, git ignore came up, test came up, GitHub came up. These, wherever you can see Una, that is updated, right? U means updated. So those folders came up. Okay, so it is getting installed. Yeah, so whatever you did right now, okay, you can do with the same command which I used. Okay, both the things are Okay,
same.
sir.
So let me share my screen. So now it says it's been installed perfectly. Okay, fine, and it will give you some basic commands to run. Like we will be using this command npx playwright test to run our end-to-end test. Okay, whichever test you want to run, you can run with the help of npx playwright test. Specific test if you want, then you have to give space and then the folder and the test specification name. UI mode, you have to say hyphen UI. If you want to run the on the Chrome browser, you can say project Chromium, and say for example WebKit, Firefox, you can give that. And then you have npx playwright test example. So this is the example specific file. So we'll get these example specific file over here. Example.spec.ts. Okay. This is by default coming up. So your test will look like this. Okay. You'll understand this
Sir,
in a
what
bit.
are all these files for, sir?
I'll explain that also. So this command again is for code generation by like if you want to generate the code with the help of record and play button. Okay, that kind of thing. Record the code by running a browser. So you can say npx play code. Okay, so these are some commands, and then yeah. So then we are okay to run our test. Okay. So let me explain you these folders. So GitHub is nothing but it stores some default configurations or action items, okay, for what do you say, helping you in following the git commands, okay, or creating a github repository and maintaining that, okay, and pushing and pulling all the details from github. So those workflow are being mentioned over here. Node modules is nothing but the library files. Okay, library files wherein all your playwright or all those files are being stored. So in case of them, you can see playwright is the one of the what you say action item. Okay, so when we want to run the playwright test, you can see npx playwright code gen. So if you, why are we writing npx? Npx stands for execute. Execute playwright and then you run this command code gen. Okay, so what npx does? Npx looks for this playwright inside your local folders. Okay, inside your local folder. So inside it .bin, it will look for playwright. Now, if you have installed playwright globally, then you don't have to write npx also. You can just write playwright and then code gen. But what you say, some with standard, if you go, we generally write npx. And why is that? Because different versions can be there in different project folders, right? Node version can be different, or TypeScript or Playwright version can be different. Okay, so to avoid that, we are using npx, so that with the help of npx, what it does, it looks for the local what you say playwright commands or folders. So it will run that particular version itself. It won't go for the global version. Okay, global as in installed at your system level. Okay. So these are node modules, some library files. The way we have JRE library files for Java. Test is the folder which will contain all your specification files. So this is one example which they provide. Okay. So example spec.ts file. Git ignore is a file which contains all the folders name which you don't want to upload on the GitHub, okay, or push on the GitHub. So like playwright report, blob report, or cache authentication files, test results. These are some folders which will get generated over here, okay, which you don't want to push into the GitHub. So when you go to this source control, initialize the repository and do the push and pull. So while pushing, these folders won't get pushed. So any folder you don't want to get like pushed to the GitHub, you can mention it over here. So that is git ignore. Okay. Then you have package log JSON, which contains some basic information about your project itself, your project name, version, okay, basic information, packages. So this is like internal, what you say, some information related to your project. You don't have to disturb this, okay, just let it be like that. Package JSON again contains some more information about your project itself. One important thing over here is scripts. So we can add this, I'll say over here, test colon npx playwright test, okay. So if I add this, okay, if I add this command over here, control S, test, so double quote, yes. So now if you see scripts, test, npm playwright test. Over here in npm scripts, you will see test over here coming up, npm playwright. So this particular command which we will be going to run it on the terminal, that is coming over here. So now you can use this play button to run your test file. Okay, whatever is inside test folder, that will get executed just by clicking on this particular play button. This was not earlier. So that's how you can add multiple commands over here. If you want to generate report, you can add comma and then a accordingly for report you can add the command. So you don't have to write all these commands in the terminal itself. It becomes a little bit easier for you. Okay. Uh, these are dev dependencies low. So whatever you will be installing in your project, like we have right now installed Playwright, okay, and Node version is there. Those things will be coming up over here. If you install LDO report, if you install some faker library, or later on you will be installing many more things, those dependencies or versioning will be coming over here. Okay, so what you can do with the help of package.json, you can understand what all things you have installed in your project. Okay, so that is the usage of package.json file. Playwright config.ts file is the file wherein all your configuration will come, basic configuration will come related to your project or your test. Okay. So test directory is .test. So this is your test directory. If you want to run fully parallel, it is true. Yes. Okay. Process environment CI, that I'll explain you later on. Retries is nothing but if your test fails, you want to retry it again and again and again. Then you have reporter. So report, by default report will be generated in HTML. If you want to generate in LDO report, you just have to give comma and then LDO report. Use, right now we are directly, if you can see the URL is mentioned over here itself. But if you want to make sure your URL over here, or you want to keep your base URL over here, you can do that. And over here in that case, we just have to write slash. Okay, simple slash.
Sir, I didn't get your last sentence, sir.
This one, base URL one.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So base URL, see, in case of our test now, we will be working on a particular website, right? So every time if you don't want to write this statement, page.go to and this URL, page.go to this URL, what you can do is you can just keep that particular URL over here. Please, okay, I'll just copy this. Let's see, and I'll paste it over here. So the URL is saved over here. Now you don't have to write URL over here. You can just write slash. Okay? You can just do slash.
Okay.
So you don't have to give URL over here. So whatever be the base URL, it will be fetched from the config file itself. Okay. Then we have trace. Trace is like it's like kind of frames which will be, which the entire test, okay, execution, like it will open the browser, it will open the login page, enter login information, whatever steps you have performed, those actions will be converted into frames and it will be shown in a timeline format. You can traverse through that timeline and you can see what actions have been performed by your test. So if you keep this trace, you can have multiple options like on first retry. Okay, you can make this. So you can see off, on all retries, on first retry, retain on failure. These are different options available. If I say on, then it will take like, or you can say it will generate the trace viewer on the very first retry. Okay? On itself is not there. On is there, right? This is also fine. So if we keep on, it will keep the trace viewer on. These are the different browsers mentioned. So main is Chromium. These are mentioned as projects. Okay. So Chromium, we have desktop Chrome, Firefox, WebKit is for Safari. This will be for mobile browsers itself, not mobile application or okay, mobile device. But in case of mobile browsers. So that's a basic configuration file. We'll come to this portion later on. Okay, it has lot of things to be added in. Okay, many more things to be added in. What you can do is, you can, if you want to know more about these things, na, you can just go to playwright.dev docs, and if you say playwright config. So version, this is version. So these are some of the options we can pass as part of select web authentication passkeys. You can create new credentials in virtual authentication, and you can pass all those things. Okay, web storage. Probably this is release notes, no? Okay. So direct, I don't think so. They have given playwright config for TS as an option over here, but in versioning only they have mentioned some of the areas what they have added in. Okay. So anyways, we'll come to this playwright config later on. But yeah, information you can get from docs for whatever they have. Okay, in their playwright, everything is mentioned over here. Selenium documentation was not that good. Hardly few things were there. In case of playwright, everything is mentioned over here. So close this. So now we'll come to this portion. Okay, understanding test folder and example spec file. So what it says, import test and expect from playwright test. So this is a module. Okay, you can see module playwright test, and from the module what we are importing test and expect. So expect will be used for assertions. See, you can see expect page to have title playwright. So we are going to open the playwright.dev site. If you can see, we have configured it over here. Okay, playwright.dev site. And then we are expecting that particular page to have a title called as playwright. If you go to the home page. So this is one test. This is another test. Okay, this is another test. Having page as a picture, or page you can understand as a, in a browser it is a tab. Okay, in a browser it is nothing but a web page wherein you are opening the URL and you are performing the actions on that particular page. And then expect is for assertion. So test and expect. So test is for, what test symbolizes your test case. Okay, test symbolizes your test case, whereas expect ensures it's a assertion. Okay, that way these two things are important to write our test case. Okay, now this is the arrow function which I was talking about earlier, which is generally used as part of your playwright test case. So this is the first thing, test, then description about that particular test, what you are actually performing, that will come as part of your the first parameter. Then async and await. Actually what these async and await does, so JavaScript basically is a asynchronous language. Okay, wherein all the commands or the, what you say, scripting commands or scripting lines are not dependent on each other. So say for example, if you write without async and await, if you write page.goto or expect this, then there is no what do you say, dependency of this particular command on this command. They both are independent of each other if you don't write async await. See, in case of Selenium, what we used to do, driver dot like we used to open the browser first. We used to create an object of Chrome driver or Firefox driver. Then we used to say driver dot go like driver dot something locator find and then click on all this. So those things used to happen in sequential order, one by one, step by step. First the browser open, then the URL open. Okay, then you used to click on the element or pass some values. But over here, if you don't write async await, then you cannot ensure that this command will work first or this command will work first. Okay, so await basically waits for this command to get completed first. So this goto actually returns a promise. If you mouse over on this method, okay, you can see promise has been written. Okay, we'll understand more about async await and promise callback function. We'll understand those fundamentals of JavaScript later on. But just understand this method is returning a promise. Promise is nothing but it is giving you a promise to respond, provide you a response. Okay, either a response or a null. Okay, promise with a response or a null. So this particular method will actually open a web page, the home page in your browser on that particular page. If that page gets loaded, then that promise has been written and it has awaited or waited for that promise to complete. Okay, once that is completed, then only it will go to the next step. Again, this to have title, again it will return a promise with void. Void is nothing but return the title. So it ensures the page has given the title. So whatever page it has written a title and it has confirmed with this, if that is done, that is completed, then this await will finish and the next line will get executed. Okay, so that is how this await works actually. It waits for that particular promise to finish. If any particular method does not return promise, you don't have to write await also. Okay, you don't have to write await also. So that is basic information about this test. Now each test actually works separately or independently. Okay, so this test will run, it will open a browser, it will open a page and it will open the URL, do some assertion, close the browser, it will again open another page, perform some actions and close. Okay, that way. We're getting some error over here because of this process. It is because of this. This. So we have not installed .env and that is why we are getting error over here. So let me quickly check on the chat GPT install .env. So the command I will share npm install .env. Okay. So I'll run this in the terminal. So I'll open with Ctrl+10 sign and over here I will say npm install .env. Okay. So once that is installed, we should these things went away. Okay, these errors went away. So .env file will understand later on. Basically, it is for creating an environment variable or a folder with env as the folder name. So you can store multiple environment folders wherein the QA environment or dev environment, and based on the QA environment, you can store different information like dev URL would be different, QA URL would be different, username password would be different for QA dev environment. So those information you can store in your .env file. So we'll learn about that also, okay, step by step. So as of now, just understand we have to install this npm install.env. Okay. Right now we were getting some error, and that's the reason we have installed. So we have saved it. Now I want to run this particular test. Okay, I want to run this particular. Two tests are there, but what I'll do, I'll comment this Firefox and WebKit as of now. You want to try with that? You can try it. Otherwise, what will happen? Two test cases are there. It will run for like each will run 3 times. So there will be six test cases or six execution will happen. Okay. So right now I'll just comment it out. Okay. And run it from here. So right now you can see you're not getting any play button over here. Okay, I have mentioned that I'll explain you second option also to get that play button over here. I'll explain that also. So as of now, I'll just run it from here. And you should see npm run test. So actually, it is running the same command npx playwright test, which we have saved in package.json. Okay. You can see run two tests using two workers. This might so
Sir,
two
I'm not
parts
getting this NPM scripts, sir.
npm
Scripts. Like,
this this
yes, sir.
actually will have to get from view explorer open view. So if you go to view and then go to open view, you will see npm scripts option over here. Just click on that and you will see that folder over here. Not folder, that particular structure. Now if you can see, it didn't actually open a browser, and you can see two test cases will pass. So why it happened? It happened because it actually executed everything in the headless mode. If you remember, in Selenium we have two things, right? Headless and headed mode. Headless means without a browser, without opening or running a browser, and headed mode basically means opening a browser. So what we what we can do is, over here we can just say hyphen hyphen headed. Okay, I'll save this way. I'll save this headed. And again, let's go over here and we'll execute. So now it should open the browser. So by default, it's headless. So you can see Chromium, it opened two different browsers. Okay. So it actually ran in parallel mode. It actually ran in parallel mode. So both the test cases are passed. Okay. Why parallel mode? Because we have this in our config file. Fully parallel. That's why two test cases got executed, both in parallel, both at the same time. Okay. If you make it false, let's make it false and see what happens. And right now it's opening only Chromium or Chrome browser. So running two tests using one worker. So there are two tests, but worker is single. That is one worker at a time. So both the tests executed one by one, step by step. So both the test cases got passed. Now if you want to generate the report, it says to open last HTML report, run this particular command. What you can do, you can use control button, you can press on that and you can generate this show. You can copy this command, or what you can do, you can go to package JSON and over here we'll say comma and then report, okay, colon, and enter Playwright show. So we have this over here as a command. I'll just execute it. Serving this particular report, so it generated the report. So has title and get started. This is a basic HTML report. So has title was the description. If you see in our Playwright test examples, has title was a basic description. Okay. So that is mentioned over here as title. Then Chromium, okay. Test steps before hooks, navigate to this home page, expect to have title, and then afterwards. And afterwards, like it will like close the page, some picture printers, it will close the printers. So there are multiple things before page also. Before page opening, there are different things like it will open the browser, context, and those things. That happens as part of before hooks and afterwards. So browser context and page. So these actions happen and these are the time taken. This is a trace. So this is what I was talking about. You trace as in it's a timeline, and you can understand what happened in each particular time frame. So these are three frames basically. This is one, navigate to the home page. Navigate to home page. It open the home page. Okay, that's it. And it verified Playwright is mentioned over there. So this is a timeline of trace. Playwright trace. So this is how you can get your report generated, and you can see information over there. Control C to hit and get back to your terminal. If you want to remove all this, you can just kill the terminal. You can just kill the terminal. Open a new terminal itself by Control C. Or if you want to open a new terminal, you can use this plus also icon to create a new terminal. It will split the terminal. And one more thing, yeah. So installation Playwright with palette. So in which you will get the play icon over here, play icon button over here. Okay. So how to do that? So view and view command palette, and then you have to say this one, test install Playwright. This already I have used command, so I'm getting over here, but you can use install and then you can say Playwright, okay? And you'll get this option, install Playwright. Okay, so just click on that. So these options will come up, like Chromium browser is selected, Firefox, WebKit is selected. JavaScript by default it's not selected. We are using TypeScript. Okay, TypeScript is default. You add GitHub actions of it, and you can see play button actually has come up now, which was not there earlier. You can say click on OK and that will get installed. So now you can see the same command it's running npm init playwright at latest years quiet browser. Same command actually it's running over here. So you do these are two different methods. Okay. Now it says already config file is there. You want to override it. So you can say false. I don't want to override. I don't want to override anything. Keeping the things as it is. So the advantage of installing Playwright from this command palette
Sir, what
is
should we write? Like, should we add false?
yeah false only, no? Because you don't want to override anything right now. Whatever configuration I'm having over here, I'm okay with that. Otherwise, what it will do? It will keep this Firefox and WebKit also, which I have already commented. So I don't want that. So that is the reason I have made it as false. So both the commands are same. Like if you install it from view command palette or by running npm init playwright at latest, both the command are same. The only difference you will see is by installing from command palette, you will get this play icon button here. So now if I want to run, I can just run this test by clicking on this play button, and only that particular test will get executed successfully. So you can see only that particular test case got executed successfully. And this, the browser will keep like keep kept open. We close and run this one. Okay, this is also fine. Clear, understood. Installing Playwright and understanding the folder structure and generating this. So now over here you can see end-to-end folder also came up, which again will have example.spec.psy. It's the same thing. Because we installed through command palette, it provided us with end-to-end folder structure. If we go with npm init playwright, it will give us test folder. Both the things are same. So I'll delete this. Delete this. Next thing you have to learn or understand is this testing option over here. Okay, so if you click on that, you will see your test mentioned. Inside your test, you have your example spec.ts file, which has two tests: has title and get started. Has title and get started. Both the tests are there. You want to run them, you can run it from here. You can debug or run on the continuous. Okay, so these options are also there. You can run it from here as well. If I just click on this play button, it will execute that particular test case. Okay, so that particular test got executed successfully. Here, so this is also one option, and in below you will see playwright option, and if I will say pick locator, record new, you will understand all these things. Okay, and step by step. Show browser is if you click on this show browser, then and if you run this, browser will be shown. If you click on show trace viewer will be shown. So if I run this, you will see trace viewer opening up. See playwright trace viewer. This is the trace viewer. Okay. So whatever happened, whatever time second, it opened the page, everything will be mentioned over there. Okay. Action before, after. Okay. This is one frame. Okay. This is another frame, something like that. So after, before, okay, you can see, and then what was the action. So everything you will see over there. Okay. Browser, configuration, all the things mentioned over there. So you can just do some to check on these options. Okay,
Sir,
so
how can we open this Playwright Trace Viewer?
you can go to this testing tab. Okay, and then in the playwright section you can just click on this show trace view. You can click on this show trace view, and when you run this test, it will open this trace view. It won't open browser. Okay, so these are the some settings. Okay, it should be, these things will learn. Okay, in coming sessions. Okay, I don't want to rush with each and everything right now. You won't be able to remember. Don't worry about these options. These are specific to my VS Code. Okay, they are nothing but Python, Postman, Client, Cloud. Okay, these are for AI related. So don't worry about why I'm not able to see all these options. You might see this as an extension. Okay, this for the debug, this for the source control, search, and explorer. Okay, so we'll keep up till this part, guys. What we have understood so far, we have understood how to install Playwright. The two different options: one is through palette, and the other through directly from the terminal. We understood about the Playwright project structure, all the folders. We executed the test and understood a basic structure, how the tests are formed, when and what all goes inside a test. Later on, we'll understand how to create our own test. Okay, so we'll create a new test. We'll have the same structure. Okay, we'll be using the same structure, and then we'll understand what all these methods are, like go to, get by role.
Sir, though you explain these methods, but it's still confusing because we have not started this topic, sir.
Don't worry. So right now, what you do, you just install this Playwright, get this structure ready, okay, and try to see or try to run this test. And Wednesday will catch up and we'll see what challenge you're facing out, like probably today or tomorrow. If you try and if you face any problem, just share me a screenshot and I'll help you out what actually. So just try out up till this part. We'll start from the basic only. Like we'll create a new file itself and we'll create a new test from the beginning. Right now, I would suggest don't worry about this page, async, await, whatever I have mentioned, like page, you will be interacting with the browser tab or a page. That is what this page is representing. See, isolated page instance created for each test. Okay. So each test will be running in a different page or a different browser tab. That information up till now, keep this in your mind. Later on, we'll discuss more about it, like what is browser context intent page. Async await promise callback function will again go in little bit depth. But today, it will be too heavy for me right now. ठीक है, यहाँ तक रखें. We'll keep up till this part, guys.